G'day and welcome to another video. In today's lesson we will learn how to make this little bag. This one is only small, but it is very easy to adjust the size of your bag. It is also easy to adjust the length of your handles. So let's get started on the lesson. For our supplies we're going to need scrap yarn. As you can see, some of these aren't full balls, some of them are. That one's pretty full, but I'm just using some scrap yarn in various colours. You're going to need, I'm actually using 2 strands of yarn at the same time. Now this is 8 ply, which is equivalent to about a sports weight yarn, or DK in the double knit yarn in the UK, but I'm using 2 strands at once. So it normally recommends about a 4mm hook, which is about a size G, but because I've got 2 strands of yarn, I'm using a 6.5mm or a K size hook. You can use 2 strands of worsted weight yarn if you like to. It will give you a really nice thick bag with the worsted weight. It'll be a lot thicker than what this is. And what we need to do is start with the hat pattern. Sorry, had a bit of a blank there. Just starting with a hat pattern. So any basic crown, I will leave a link to the description box below, and that will give you my one with the almost invisible seam. And I've done 1, 2, 3, 4 rows, and of course this is not going to be very big. As you can see, it's not very much bigger than my hand, palm of my hand. So this is only going to be a reasonably small bag, but the more increased rounds that you do, the bigger that your bag's going to be, obviously. So it's up to you. You can make a really big bag or you can make a small bag. And also there's different handle options that we can use. I'll put some links below to some mesh summer bags that have different styles of handles, but this one is going to be different to that again, so it'll give you a few options. So you're going to need a pair of scissors as usual, a yarn needle to sew in your ends, your crochet hook and your yarn. You don't have to use 2 strands at once if you don't want to, it's completely up to you. I just thought I would try and bust some stash, and I have plenty to bust. So let's carry on with the next bit. Once we have our circle, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 rows, and increase, 1, 2, and then the increase. You can do as many rows as you like, as long as your stitches around the outside are divisible by 2. Then we are good to go. We're going to join our yarn in. We're using 2 strands at once for this pattern, so even though there's 2 loops on our hook, it's classed as 1 because the 2 strands are classed as 1 strand. So we're going to chain up 3, and then we're going to work a cluster into the same stitch. So the very first one's a little slightly different than the next and the remaining stitches because we've got our chain 3. So yarn over, go into the same stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. You'll have 3 loops. Even though it looks like we've got 6, remember these 2 are counted as 1. So that's 1, 2, 3. Pull through 2. And normally you'd yarn over and go through 2, but we're going to hold these stitches here. So we're yarning over, going into the same space, pull up a loop, pull through 2, and hold. We've got 3 stitches, so this chain 3 is counted as the first stitch. 1, 2, 3. Going to yarn over and pull through all loops. Chain 1, skip 1, work a double crochet into the next stitch, but remember to hold your 2 loops. So we've got 2 loops, so hold that one, yarn over, go into the stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, we've got 3. So we want 3 of these stitches into that same space. So pull through 2, and don't forget that these 2 loops here are counted as 1. Okay, so when I'm saying pull through 2, it looks like I've got 4 loops, but it's actually, that's counted as 1, and that's counted as 1. So yarning over, pull through 2. And we've got 4 loops on our hook this time. So when we do our first one we got 3, but on the remaining ones we've got 4. So yarn over and pull through all the stitches. Chain 1, skip a stitch and working a cluster into the next one. So pull up a loop, pull through, hold those 2 stitches, and cluster stitches can be worked with many stitches. We can work, so this is a 3 double crochet cluster, and I've seen them anywhere up to 7, so you can work 7 of these stitches into that same space, and on your pattern it'll tell you how many, well, it should tell you how many you're going to work. So chain 1, yarn over, skip 1 stitch, go into the next one. So you're doing a double crochet and then you're stopping with the last 2 loops. And then pull through all of the loops, chain 1. And we're going to repeat this all the way around until we get back to the beginning. So I've done my chain 1 there and I've finished off my cluster. We're going to join into the top of the cluster. See how there's some loops there? Going to join into the top of that. Now I'm actually going to change colour every row because I reckon that's going to look really cute. But of course you can do whatever you like. I'm just guiding you, you're the one that's actually creating your own masterpiece. So finish off that colour. So when we work our new one, we're actually going to work into this space. So the chain 1 space is there, we're actually going to be putting clusters into that space. So putting your hook into there. What colour should I do next? Ooh, I got pink or yellow? What the pink will look like next to that. That will look quite cute. And the great things about the scrap bags, like using up all your stash, you can use so many different colour combinations. So chain 1 to secure, and then I pull down the strand at the back, secures that in there, chain 3, and now we're working our clusters and we're working them in between into the chain 1 space. So yarning over, going into that chain 1 space, working our beginning cluster. So the beginning cluster is slightly different, isn't it? Because we've only got 3 loops when we finish off, but it's just because we've got that chain 3 there. Chain 1, find the next chain 1 space. So it's basically, if your 2 clusters are there, it's in the middle. In there. Work your cluster. Did you notice I nearly did a double crochet? And we're going to pull through all loops. Chain 1, and we're going to continue around. Did I work a chain 1 there? Let's have a look. Did anybody notice if I did? I did. Sometimes I'm not sure, and I just like to go back. If it's only a 1 stitch, you know, it's only 1 group back, I'll just pull it out and double check. Because it does make a difference when you come around on the next row with any pattern if you've missed a stitch. And sometimes it's very noticeable as well. So into the next space. And I like to leave my mistakes in if they're only little ones like that, just so, like that one as well, just so you can see that, you know, it's alright to make a mistake. Doesn't matter. Don't stress. Just pull it out and start again. There we go, and chain 1, and continue that all the way around, working in between all of our gaps. When we come around, I've done my chain 1 there, and we're going to join into the top of the cluster. You could join here, but I think that's going to look funny. You want to join at the top rather than on the side of it. There we go. Now you could actually use this pattern for a hat, couldn't you? How cute does it look? I really like that. That looks really cute. So I'm going to continue on with a few more rows. You work it exactly the same as the last one. And I will meet back with you when we've got all the rows to our bag finished. Well, all the cluster rows to our bag finished, and then we'll start on the handles. Once you have as many rows as you need, this would look really, really cool as a hat too, wouldn't it, don't you think, with all those bright colours? So you can use this as a hat. You would just need to increase the top of that, and in the video that I've got the link below, it shows you how to get your hat the right size to make it fit properly. So once we've got all this, I've actually sewn my ends in as well, because there was a mile of ends in there and they were annoying me. This one we can actually sew over as we go, crochet over as we go, sorry. What I'm going to do, I'm going to grab another colour. I'm going to do blue because that matches the base. Going to join our yarn in. You could join it into the space here, or you could join it into the top of the cluster stitch that we've got. It doesn't really matter where we join it in. And I'm still got the same size hook, and I'm still using 2 strands of yarn. Just going to do a chain stitch to attach that in there. And I'm going to half double crochet into the space, or you're going to half double crochet into the top depending on where you joined your yarn. You're going to half double crochet into the top of the cluster stitch. I keep going to say puff stitch, but I don't know why. I haven't even used one of those for a while. Half double crochet into the space here. So it's into the chain 1 space, because we did a chain 1 in between, didn't we? So into the top of the cluster stitch, into the chain 1 space, and we're going to repeat this all the way around until we get back to the beginning. We're going to join to the first stitch. We've got the 4 loops. Nope. There we go. Join with a slip stitch, and you can work as many rounds of the half double crochet as you like. I might actually work one more round of the half double crochet. And then we're going to work on our handles. Now you can add any handles that you like. I'm going to show you how to do some handles on this one. I will also put links below to different bags that I have that you can adapt the handles to. They're going to be the Mesh Market bags. It's pretty much worked out the same way. Of course, if you've made a smaller bag like I have, you will have to do it on a smaller scale, but I'm sure you can figure it out. So you don't have to do the handles that I'm going to do. So I'm going to work one more round of half double crochet, and then we'll get started on the handles. So to do that, I do a chain 1, but I don't count that as a stitch. It's just my step up. So then I yarn over, go into the same stitch, and work half double crochet. Half double crochet in the next stitch, and half double crochet in every stitch around. And I'll meet back with you when we're to here. Once you have your worked half double crochet rows, you could also use single crochet rows for that one, but I find sometimes when I work single crochet that it makes the opening smaller. To help with that, you could use a bigger hook, or just not have your tension quite as tight. So fold your bag in half. My yarn is attached over here, so fold it so the yarn is attached on that side like that. And you're going to need some stitch markers. Sorry I didn't tell you at the beginning of the video. Just odd bits of yarn. I do have some bobby pins, but I don't have enough. We're going to need 4 stitch markers. And we're going to mark the halfway point. I'm just going to eyeball it. And then we want to get the halfway point between the edge and there to the halfway point, so the quarter of a way across. You're going to add a stitch marker. I'm just going to tie that on because that's quite small, it might fall out. You're going to add one at the back. Now you could count your stitches, but I've done this so many times I don't really need to. So then that's the centre and that's the edge. You're going to mark the halfway point that's there as well. And then just making sure that that's lined up and that's lined up. We're going to make one in the back. So what we want to do, we attached over here, so we're going to crochet across until we get to our stitch marker. So chain one, half double crochet or single crochet in the same stitch, and then work around until we get to our next stitch marker. Work into the stitch that we've marked so we can get rid of him. He's done his duty. And now we're going to make our chain. Depending on the size of the handles is going to be how many chains you like. I only want small handles on this one. How many stitches do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to chain 15. I'm just going to chain a few more than what I have in the space because I only want little handles. If you want longer handles, you can make your chain as long as you like. So it's 15 chains. Skip the gap that's here and into your next stitch marker. Work your half double crochet stitch. So then we have our little handle. And half double crochet or single crochet across to your next stitch marker. I'll just leave the camera rolling for this row so you can see exactly what I'm doing. Okay, so we're going across, we're going to put a stitch into the stitch marker stitch. Okay, so now we're up to our next handle. You're going to work the chain that you did. Same amount as what you did on the other side. So I've got 15. Then we're going to work a stitch into the one that we just marked. Oops, doing a half double crochet. And then here's the beginning of our row, so we're going to stitch across until we get to there. and then slip stitch to join. Oh, it's looking so cute already. Alrighty, so let's just make sure that's even. So you could leave it like that. I don't think that that's strong enough with just that chain. So we're going to work half double crochet rows around so that it's a bit more sturdy. I mean, even though this is small, and it probably will be for a child, I just really don't think that's strong enough. So chain one, double crochet, half double crochet into the same stitch, and then stitch it along. Sorry, my yarn keeps getting caught. So we're going to half double crochet until we get to that chains that we made. Now you can work into the chain space and work around like that. So if you're doing half double crochet, you yarn over, go into the big gap, pull through a loop, and then pull through all three. But I'm going to actually work into the chain, so I will work so yarning over, zoom this in a bit, going into the chain, now it's zoomed in too much. There we go. So yarning over. This is a bit fiddly, but I just think it looks nicer when you crochet into the chain. Alrighty, so we're going to repeat that all the way around the chain. Then when we come to the half double crochets, like here, we're going to half double crochet in there, and then repeat the same process on the chain on the other side, and I'll meet you back when we get to here. And once you got back to the beginning, you slip stitch to join and then sew in your ends. Now this bag, I said this might be for a little girl, but you know what? I think I might actually keep it for myself. It's really cute. It's not as small as what I thought it was going to come out, so that's quite good. For purse and mobile phone, and yeah, perfect size just to duck down the road. Or you know what? Even what else I was thinking? It's such a twisted thought. Big enough to put a yarn ball in, big enough to go over your wrist, and you can crochet on the go. Now, if you're in a car or something like that, yeah, like I said, twisted. Everything's about crochet. So I hope you enjoyed that video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, as there will be plenty more videos to come. And if you would like to see more of my videos, go to my website. The link is below. It's very organised over there and easy to find your way around. There's also lots of free patterns. If this bag gets a free pattern to go with it, I will put the link below as well to the free pattern. So thanks for watching, guys, and until next time, happy crochet.